Everyone cannot be a Black woman. It's mewling and self-hating behavior when Black women give their identity away. Black women in America created the now popular country music along with many other genres. Just like everything else, they've refused to gatekeep, and now outsiders have not only claimed it as their own, there's now biracials such as Tanner Adele, referring to themselves as Black every time it's time to market and sell a song or album. A biracial woman who looks like the white woman who gave birth to her, adopted by two white people claiming to be a Black woman and representative of the Black woman's experience. When I pushed back on this woman's claim of being Black, I was not shocked at all to find actual Black women quick to throw on their capes and come to the rescue of the woman they not so secretly want to look like. A quick little search from me, and I see these same women who sent me death threats and accusations of being hateful and a hater, had social media accounts filled with them making a clear distinction between biracial males and Black males, a clear distinction between biracial women and white women, and the best of all being past post-degrading dark skin, calling it burnt and gleefully talking about how people have accused them of being mixed. When I push back on this, the response I get is complaints that non-Black people see them as Black, therefore they are Black. They experience racism and got called a monkey. Therefore, they have experienced life as a Black woman. I feel like it shouldn't have to be explained why this is a bizarre way to look at Blackness and how insulted Black women should be when they hear this. White people do not run this earth. Them or anyone else are not divine beings who can dictate anything to Black women. Blackness is not suffering from racism and someone insulting you, especially not Black womanhood. Why are Black women are the only group of people accepting this? And why is no one else is attacked for not allowing biracials to claim to be them? Black women with biracial daughters trying to make their daughters the exception to a rule. No, your daughter is not Black. She's biracial. Despite the fact that Black women are the only group who have not tried to claim any racial superiority over others and harm them because of that, it's alarming that Black women are the only people treated as some type of extremist or Hitler-type individual for simply not claiming biracials. People claiming Black women are hateful for establishing boundaries are essentially saying, you are not worthy of these boundaries and no one should respect said boundaries. It's dangerous for people to behave like a Black woman telling someone no is an attack on that person. When you call a biracial Black, you're saying a white woman essentially can take the place of a Black woman and create the same. Any type of genes you have as the original woman might as well be null and void because anyone off the street can quickly replace you. Only a Black woman who hates herself would be okay with that. Another pushback I get is people referring to Black Americans as biracial, claiming Black Americans cannot separate themselves from people with one non-Black parent because it's the same thing. No, it's not. Black Americans are not biracial. We are multiracial and a unique admixture of blood from around the world, but we're the first to be called Black as an identity before any other monoracial Black person, typically from Africa, was Black. This time, the term Black being used to describe race only. Calling us biracial is incorrect. The concept of race by skin color is a social construct that was not created by our Creator, not created by Black women. Despite the concept of race being made up, it's still something that affects our life, and Black women will continue to be a losing team if they continue to allow obvious racial attacks and erasure in the name of being inclusive, while no one else is doing that. The people who created race are not allowing those of a quote-unquote other race to claim to them. So I'm not understanding what's not clicking in Black women's brains, why it's important to not claim biracials as them. The creation of race and racism is enough to create a separate video, but it was specifically made to be oppressive to Black women. The one-drop rule was created in America thousands of years later to continue this oppression and pseudo-virtue of whiteness. It makes sense in early America why Black women would not make a distinction between race. Those biracial children were safer with their mothers individually and with the community of Black women. Some biracials helped fight against slavery. Some biracials later helped Black women in their fight against gendered oppression, and even during Jim Crow, having biracials to increase the numbers of people opposing this oppressive violence was beneficial. We are not in slavery or Jim Crow anymore, and no longer have any reason to agree to any one-drop rule. Now, black women are falsely under the impression if they don't call their kids black, then the kid isn't theirs, which is ridiculous. There's a popular TikTok creator who makes content mostly focusing on womanhood and anything related. She posted a video twirling around in a dress in a black hairstyle she's made very popular, and it gets an average amount of views. She then posts a biracial woman with same hairstyle that she did herself and in her dress, and it goes viral with millions of views. She thought an appropriate response to this was to make a videos complaining in a joking way to appear unbothered. My take on this was that black women seem to think there's social currency in being mistreated or not properly respected. They want sympathy attention, since society refuses to give them normal attention. This woman had something unique to her, decided to give it to a non-black woman, and then complains, and I could tell the people who responded to her complaints with empty sympathy really did not care, and I don't blame them. Why should they care more than she does? What's not a social construct is gender. Males cannot be black women. This is yet another thing that shouldn't have to be explained to black women, but apparently it does. So not only are black women allowing and fully embracing racial attacks, but also found a way to do this in terms of gender. First off, stop being nice to these people and grow a backbone. Stop allowing to them to label you and only silently disagreeing with them. If someone tries to refer to you as CIS, correct them. If they have an issue with that, then shun them. Black women should. A recent article came out claiming a bill passed for black women and girls would include the males they refer to as trans women when there's no such thing, and would actually specifically be passed to help them. So in layman's terms, bills are being passed under the guise of helping black girls and women, but they are actually not for black girls and women. This is another way to siphon energy, influence, and benefit from the labor of black women. It's very dangerous if all future bills passed meant to help us is actually not for us. Once again, why are black women not using brain cells and common sense to comprehend the severity of this and how dangerous it is for the most oppressed demographic in the world? There's wannabe women lurking in the spaces of black women, trying to pick up on the language and tone of black women, now all over social media repeating the talking points of black women, talking about black women's experience. These males typically wear wigs, of course, and obvious makeup, and long nails, very much a cosplay of womanhood. Black women should make sure to stop with the drag queen beauty trends that's purposely being pushed to them and move over to softer and more natural makeup, natural hairstyles, shorter nails that show of natural, more softer and curved fingers of women. Black women have features that cannot be convincingly imitated, even those other demographics definitely try. The black women who support these males are of course male worshippers and hate themselves, obviously. And it goes much deeper than that. They will blatantly say they are unattractive, seen as not feminine, and they push this onto every black woman so they won't feel like it's just them that's having this issue. Misery loves company. They claim we are not seen as real women, therefore should support males who are not seen as real women. This is just an attempt at gaining black women's advocacy for people to claim legitimacy for their social issues and have a pack of black women attack dogs, defending them at every turn. Their excuse is to say white supremacy doesn't see us as women. Again, white people don't dictate anything, and people should question these so-called social justice warriors who are basically promoting the same white supremacy agency they claim to be against. Black women were women before males even existed. So I need them to explain to me how they suddenly got the authority to demand what a black woman is or isn't. Black women don't need external validation to be women. I don't understand why these women are clinging onto the opinions of others so hard and allowing them to tyrannize black womanhood. We are the female gender because that's how we were created. It's really that simple. Any body type we have, whether we wear makeup or not, or whether males are drooling over us or not, doesn't change that. Crazy enough, the few times black women have tried to gatekeep it's been for all the wrong reasons. They claim being ghetto as their blackness and fought against white women in trailer parks who picked up on every ghetto thing they could find. They argued for the right to degrade and disrespect themselves, upset when strip clubs didn't hire them because the males they call kings requested racially ambiguous women to be strippers and servants at the club. Black women promoting their own erasure, has gone beyond both race and gender. They are appointing non-black women to win HBCU awards, Black Beauty Contest. They are promoting black hair on magazines as bleached blonde, loose curls or straight hair on celebrities. Black women in spirituality spaces, allowing non-black women to speak on African spirituality and make themselves the face of goddesses. The same with black males and allowing them to masculinize goddesses. What black women are doing to completely bizarre, unacceptable, and disgusting. It's not hateful to gatekeep. A black male once decided to insult me and argue against me, saying that a biracial is not a black woman. I did some digging and of course found out his child is biracial. That got me to thinking why this black male who hates blackness is trying to push this child onto the very identity he doesn't even like himself. And why people like Tanner Addo, self-proclaimed black country singer, is clinging onto blackness she clearly doesn't like or respect. It's because they have nowhere else to go. Tanner seems to be fully aware that white women like her mother will never accept her into whiteness. She didn't get the white audience she wanted, so now she's trying to get into the pockets of the black community. The black male who was arguing with me was seeking to groom servants in slavery version of a mammy who takes care of the non-black child. Black males essentially are not accepted into non-black communities, and even after desperately trying to create biracial children, those children are also not accepted. So black males want to pawn those rejected children off onto black women to have a soft landing for the eventual kicking out of the non-black communities. Black women being the fallback and second choice for the same people to cling onto is nothing we haven't seen before. There's an annoying video on YouTube showing an Asian woman with a biracial daughter asking a black woman how to do her daughter's hair. I was very proud to see the comments filled with black women questioning why that video was made, why black women are always asked to take care of someone's child, and asking if she was properly compensated for the labor and knowledge she gave the Asian woman. Isn't it funny how we've never seen a black woman with a biracial daughter asking anyone how to do their child's differently textured hair and making a public spectacle out of this apparent lack of knowledge? The world is currently trying to convince black women that we did not invent our inventions, that we aren't the blueprint even though black women clearly are. Obviously, braids are once again being imitated after being popularized by us. And at this point, I'm assuming these people are embarrassed by their obsession with us and have to convince everyone and themselves that they are not actually copying black women and wearing styles only because they saw black women wearing them. Like I said, people's response to black women establishing boundaries is to overreact and essentially try to insult or lecture black women about morality. It's up to black women if they like themselves enough to protect their own identity.